Hey guys, welcome to another Trade Genius podcast. Got my good friend Bob here, and we are going to talk about why we are likely headed lower in 2025. Let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
All right, Bob. So this chart here, if you believe that the stock market is nothing but a measure of forward-looking earnings or forward earnings, then I think all you need to see is right here as to what to expect coming in 2025.
Yeah, in the short term, basically liquidity and animal spirits drive the market, and long-term cash flow drives the market. And you have this chart, throw this chart up, and it's tis the season, Phil, because what they always do is first and second quarter are always rosy projections. And if they don't meet those projections, it's just because we really haven't got the memo yet that things are going to get even better yet. But when we get to the third and fourth quarter, comes the true Catholic CFOs, and a lot of confessions are happening here. And so they started revising down the earnings estimates. That drives down what the algos have to start pricing in. And if they miss it, God help them. So I think this is going to be a big problem, Phil, because it's just the beginning. In fourth quarter, they're going to drive those revisions down again and into the first quarter. And then you're going to have, this is when the recession, not the recession, but the layoffs and the charge-offs and restructurings are going to be coming en masse.
Yeah, and this is the weird part too, because the markets, the way they work, right, is you're taking basically into Q4, you're taking all of that Q3 positive growth in the market, and it kind of rolls into kind of a rolling trade where exposures need to be maintained, and so it creates a tailwind for the markets. However, looking around the corner, right, then you start to know that this is going to come down the pipe. So though for most of retail, they see the market going up in Q4, they think, oh, this is great, and they also see an initial buy at the first couple of weeks in January, which is the new year order flow, and they go, oh, this is great again. Meanwhile, what's happening is that the smarter money, you'll notice the flows. If you start looking at that smart money flow, you'll notice they'll be exiting, right? The market outflows and the hedge fund outflows will be starting, and so you're kind of suckering in retail to hold the bag again, and that's it's going to happen again. They'll be holding the bag at the very top of the market. So do you want to be part of the bag holder, or do you want to be with the smart money and bail out? So you have to be looking ahead at forward earnings, and because ultimately at the end of the day, like Bob said, right, short term you have narratives, you have the flows, that the liquidity flows that can basically dictate things short term. I think that'll be the driving force in a Q4, but ultimately what the market prices in is corporate earnings, and that's going downhill next year. And I think that's where you're going to end up at the end of 2025, is basically looking back on, gee, I guess this was a bear market.
Yeah, look, you can't get ahead of the math here, and let's make it a couple of assumptions here. If Trump wins the election, which seems increasingly likely, is that he's going to go after energy pretty hard, right? And you have Kennedy's going to go after the healthcare industry. And then you have Elon Musk who's going to go after everything else. So this isn't necessarily an environment of exuberance. It's going to be an environment of retrenchment in certain industries, in order for the consumer to have a better shot. Remember, Main Street and Wall Street in many cases are not correlated, Phil. And I think it's going to be one of those situations where the populist president is going to probably show his face, and it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be hard on corporate earnings, and I think these revisions are going to go down all through 2025 in my view. So stay with it. It's going to be good news, bad news. Bad news, your portfolio may suffer in 2025. The good news is they may be able to right the ship here to get things going in 2027, 2028. We shall see. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Come check us out. We're enjoying the exuberance when it shows up. Bitcoin and MicroStrategy and Coinbase, Bido, those guys are giving us a lot of fun this week, and there's always a bull market somewhere, regardless of what's happening in the general market. So come trade with us, make some money, have some fun, and enjoy your life a little bit. Thanks, Phil.
Trade Genius.